So, hello, hi, good evening. This is Ravindra Pande. I'm starting a new batch of business analysis, project management, skill, agile, and product owner. So here we are basically have a combination of course where we are trying to basically go to a level of a senior project manager, program manager, so that we can earn at least something like 150K plus kind of
Uh,
remuneration per year basis.
Ravindra sir, sorry to interrupt you. There is some sound coming from the background.
There's nothing at my end, sir.
Uh,
I mean,
now
system
it
is
now it stopped. Like some whistle kind of slight sound. Now it stopped. Okay. Sorry.
this thing happen, yeah, due to Zoom and all those technicality. Let's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
go
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think so. That yeah.
due to even
Uh,
network conjunctions and all those things. This thing to happen. Okay, no problem. We need to work with this. We need to basically step by step accept such challenges and get over it. Right. So yes, let's start with our first session in a kind of around 2.5 to 3 months length of a journey where we'll learn business analysis, project management, scale agile. It's also called as a safe and product owner. So we'll understand these four different strata of careers. Now, when today we'll start with business analysis in a few slide, just to give you quick introduction why we have matured to this level. We used to have something like project management before, but as we find, there are lots and lots of gaps in terms of gaining the technical acceptance from a business analyst. So business analyst, as an current scenario, these are very young people, or these are the freshers mostly, which don't possess domain knowledge. They might have different type of linguistic. They might have a different way of communicating with the newer crowd and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, whatever you require in terms of project management to build a product, to basically create a solution, or to basically execute some services for somebody, right? So for this thing, there were a good number of gaps in terms of from the business analysis knowledge transfer to the project management team. And this is how a typical software company works, be it something like auto ancillary or NBFC. Even there also there were challenges with a business analyst. What business analysts do, they analyze business. So we'll first understand what is business, what do you mean by analysis, what actually do analyze, what needs to be analyzed, right? And those scenarios. Then we'll move to the project management. How do you manage project? How do you manage to create a solution, to create a product, to create some services? So project management do include product management, service management, and solution management overall together. And we'll basically try to understand how does this product management, service management differs from project management, and the service management and product management itself, how they are different from each other. There are differences, not a really major scale, but yes, there are some differences, because yeah, here we are building a kind of solution, a typical you can say software solution. You could think of anything as of building new certain thing, which also include some type of third party product, some type of services, some type of own training and help, which is bundled in the overall project management. When you talk about product management, well, product management basically start with actually idea of a product. Here in project we have envisioning of a product. In services we talk basically trying to understand or assess the gap study, trying to understand how we can basically service the client for a given their need, to a particular need. Okay, so a service can be a training service can be a kind of mentoring service, hand holding service. A service can be basically trying to make somebody's life easier in terms of providing foods, providing shelter, and something like that also, right? And in terms of solution management, which encompasses overall project, product, and service management, and a mixture of the whole above, right? And that's how we will understand what is the management, how do you basically implement this management. Okay, then we'll move to the scale design, where we are talking about a management with a lengthy or a bigger level, mostly in the vicinity of 50 plus resources working together, and at least a 6 months duration what we plan for. So we are looking for so many FTs full-time engineers working for a given project, given cause. Yes. Okay. I will try to speak slower, Sham, because I don't know, means I am not, getting any disturbances, or there could be a normally message like your internet connection is not stable or nothing like that. I'm not getting those things. I have an optical cable of 150 Mbps at home. So I don't think there should be a challenge, but yes, if you're getting that thing, you can, restart your router for that matter, so that, you'll get a new connection with ISP, and that'll be a bit better. I don't know. I'm just, throwing suggestion, whatever comes on top of my head. Okay. So yeah. So scale agile is basically scaled project management for a longer duration project, longer duration product, development, service development, or a solution development for that matter. And then the product owner is a kind of a visionary who starts basically building solutions, support projects, project, or a product. Okay, so product owner can be even solution owner, service owner, and the whole 9 yards of it. So what we are trying to understand here, how to start in terms of understanding the business, the analysis part of it, and this is what we call a requirement gathering in a topic, typical software SDLC. Then we move to the project management, where we normally start with building some sort of a design or architecture for a proposed solution, software, product, services, whatever it may be, and then we'll basically plan it out in a project management. And in scaled agile, we'll understand how do we scale those developments to a mammoth level. And then we have something like product owner, where we'll understand how product owner can guide the development team in the best possible way, in the best possible disciplines. And in a step by step way, we'll keep learning, we'll keep discussing. So rather than training, I would really like to call this as a discussion session. So please do participate, do ask questions. You might feel it's a trivial questions with a simple answer, but at the end of the day, this is how we learn. Unless and until the thought process is clear, you couldn't learn, you couldn't understand. Okay, and once you understand, then only you can express yourself for a given idea, for a given concept. And that's how we want to do. We will have lots and lots of hands-on experience, where you'll get a good idea of how these things are implemented at a ground level. And above and beyond, we have something like interview support. So I'll be guiding you. These topics is really important from an interview perspective. Please treat interview as your first line of obstacle, which we need to create in the near future, which we need to clear in the near future. Okay. Then also we have resume building workshop, resume building session, which go in parallel with the senior most HR available at you on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Their timings are a bit different, and you can see those timings within your group, within our group, and you basically can attend it whenever you are ready to build your resume. And don't wait for the last session. Start building your resume as of now, and we'll basically keep updating throughout our sessions. And then we'll have something like project remote support. So when you start working, we normally support you in terms of any challenges, any obstacles coming your way, and we'll make sure you keep the job, you basically excel in the job one way or the other. Okay, and that's how all this thing is there to support you to get a good job, good paying job, and then keep it for at least 6 months. Then you are on own. If you need if you need the help continuously, then also it's possible. And then we can figure it out how to get it done, right? And this is how we basically try to create a good job aspirants in terms of getting the best possible job available in the market and trying to keep it for at least 6 months. That's how this whole model have been designed. That's how this whole model have been structured. Does anybody have any question at this moment?
No, sir.
Right?
I don't
Yeah.
have.
Let's move on. So as I told you, analytics, business analysis, project management, scaled agile, and product owner. These are the four distinct, legs of our discussions. Here, we'll try to understand how a solution is being conceptualized, how we take it to a design or architect bed, how we develop, construct, test, and then deliver. And then in within those processes, if it's a big project, how things differs That's what we're going to understand in a scaled agile way. Okay, and then we'll basically understand the visionary's idea of a product and why these ideas are different in actuality. Okay, because every time whenever you start building these product solution support services, the initial idea is a kind of you can say a newly born baby, and you normally give a shape to the baby's mind, his behavior, with all those sanskar, all those nourishment, teaching, mentoring him how to walk, how to speak, how to talk, how to run, and so on and so forth. And that's how we have included these 4 steps for everything to do with the actual management. How do you manage a software development process, or typical, even for that matter, product development process? How do you basically try to understand, to devise or define, invent a service for a given business, right? And that's how we have basically bundled these 4 things together. All these symbols are the trademark of their owners. Okay, yes, I'll share my presentation, no problem. That's the normal process. Okay, about me, I am a kind of let me share you, experienced trainer. We have me, Ravindra Pande. I'm a computer technology engineer, MBA, advocate, blah 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 blah. Around 28 of years of experience. I have worked around 17 different countries, almost all the continents except the the Australian continent. And I have quite a good amount of credentials in terms of certification at my within my career, and I'm still learning. Currently, I'm doing Masters of Law in India. I'm specialized in copyright and patents. Okay, if you need anything, do let me know. I'll be happy to give my credentials details, to substantiate it. With me we have Prerna ma'am. I couldn't include her slide here, pardon me for that. Prerna ma'am also have around 18 years plus experience. She is working as a senior manager in one of the most prominent NBFs, banking services in India. She'll be basically guiding us on Agile Scrum basics, and she'll be helping us out with good amount of thought process in terms of how do we understand in terms of different SDLCs, the Agile and the Scrum. And these topics are basically mentored by the madam, and she'll also come and give her introduction in a few days, and we'll start with those topics as well. Okay, now let's try to
So
understand.
these sessions are like divided between you and Prerna ma'am, right? Like,
No, it's not divided. We basically do it together, because sometimes what happens, a single mentor guiding, or you're discussing with you for so long time, it becomes a bit what you can say, non-colorful or boring, right? And that's why we have another really great what you can say angle to it, and that's why we have a gents and a ladies trainer, so that you'll have a kind of a colorful discussions also. Some resources might open up with the lady counterpart, and these things we have found, and that's why we have these a kind of balance we are trying to maintaining throughout these sessions, because these are longer study mechanism, right? So we will be studying together for almost, I think, 10 to 12 weeks, and then we'll basically have those interview support sessions, the interview question and answers review sessions, your workshop review sessions, and then we basically have the support once you start the job, and even that support goes for 6 months. So being interacting with single person might create some nausea or something like that. That's why we have a balance of gents and a lady. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
yes, sir. Thank you.
So let's go to the agenda. We'll try to understand, and then we'll start with the business analysis today. Normally, all these sessions are 1.5 hours, but sometimes we might go overboard by a few minutes or something like that if you are in a discussion with a continuation of our topics. Okay, so we take a logical end to every session, and mostly it's around 1.5 hours. Okay, let's start with understanding the agenda overall. How we start in building this thing. We have basically understood how the BA, PM, SET, PO type of combination we have created for you, and then we also understood the history, how the overall history of management have been migrated. Just to rephrase that, I think I missed a point there, but yeah, previously during 1980s, 1990s to 2000, the project manager used to do the business analyst duty, and it was too much on his or her plate, so that what the major consortium or major project management institutions have thought, this includes the Carnegie Mellon of the world, the Project Management Institute of the world, and the major institute project management research and study. We have came up with something like, let's separate business analysis from the project management. So what we do, we did some sort of a research and we try to build some practices for business analysts as a separate legs or separate department, where they'll basically try to understand, try to discuss with the business closely, and try to get the requirement, try to understand the vision, mission, policy behind those solutions, support services, and so on and so forth. Then they'll create some sort of a documentation. We also build some disciplines into that. We also have some templatization into that, and with this, then this knowledge has to be transferred to the management in terms of project management, product management, or service management, where the project manager will be in charge, who basically get handover from this business analyst team. Now, as in history, uh, why we basically broke this thing up, but whenever this project manager used to do business analyst, then too much efforts has to be spent on that, and which is not really at a very intellectual level, or this is mostly trying to understand the business, trying to suggest a solution which is near and dear to the customers or the visionaries, basically, right? Here the customer can be your internal department within your organizations. A customer can be external department, like organizations which is just started engagement with you, or an organization which is working with your organization for so many years, and so on and so forth. So these new engagements start, eats up lots of time in terms of waiting, in terms of discussing a kind of trivial matters, like we have so many resources, so much revenue, then this much we can spend, that much we can discuss. There are lots of negotiation in terms of technology, platform, deployment scenario, and so on, so forth. So that's what we did. We did business analysis separation from the actual management. So we have a leg called business analyst, which actually accept the vision, mission, policies from the business. They compile a documentation, they compile a conceptualization of a solution, services, product, whatever that need to be compiled, and then build some documentation and hand it over to the project manager. Now these analysts in nowadays, practically, they are also a kind of reviewer, advisor throughout our project management, product management, or service management. And this way, they do enrich those products, services, support one step at a time. And that's how we basically get an enriched product, or what you can say, a product without skipping any requirement, which is supported by these visionaries or the client, right? And that way, we normally use this combination as a business analyst, transferring knowledge to the project management, then project management basically building, creating, developing, enhancing whatever we do in terms of however we conceptualize the solutioning. It can be services, product, or project depending upon the requirement of a client, and then we basically deploy it to the client, get their agreement, satisfaction in return, and of course the finance, or the costing or the payment, whatever we agreed upon, and then we basically move to a support, services, warranty, whatever have been discussed earlier as per the contract between these two organizations. And these are the why that's why we have this combination to basically start a process from the thought and end it to actual reality, product, solution, support being given to the another organization, another corporate. And that's how these combination do help us for an individual to migrate from a simple vision to actual reality in terms of product, solution, or services. And that's why this combination do help us up to a great extent, rather than just doing the project management or just doing the business analyst, right? So you are getting a complete evolution of how a product, services, or support can be devised, can be invented, can be created, can be developed. And then we normally enrich with the software development processes like Agiles, and the different processes, the waterfall of it, the ITSM of it, and there are dime a dozen type of such software methodologies or processes, and we'll try to understand the difference between them. Then we'll learn Agile in depth, so that Agile Scrum is the most popular project management thought process right now, which covers around 85 to 90% of the projects are executed in Agile Scrum. So that's why we'll basically study the Agile development and the different flavors of it, right? Extreme programming, which is normally referred as a XP, Scrum. Scrum is a specified, most evolved branch of Agile methodology. And then we have a pair Agile development, where we require very high quality of products to be developed, or high quality of solution or services to be developed. Then we'll also dwell upon various methodologies like scaled agile, safe for extensively bigger project, or excruciatingly bigger project in terms of number of in terms of timelines, in terms of the resource engagement, and so on. Again, I couldn't stress enough, this is a job oriented training. So whatever we basically discuss here, whatever we try to learn here, is for a specific specification of getting a good job, getting a good start in terms of enhanced salary, or satisfaction of a work, and then we'll basically grow ourselves into a level of a senior project manager, program manager, and the different similar levels of the management's ladder. And here we basically talking about kind of a converting ourselves into a leadership positions. All these management positions are a leadership position. Basically, project manager or a solution manager or a product manager is the first step of a leadership position. Then we normally reach to a program manager level, or a senior project manager, senior product manager, and so on and so forth. So we are basically trying to aim for senior project manager and program management level. Whenever we basically whenever we start the discussion of project management, like of our discussions, I'll explain you why program manager, why not the project manager, and so on. So, okay, then these training are also intended for a personal development, support to others. So we are basically learning in a group. So what we need to understand, we have to grow together, we have to work together, and for that matter, it's really important to discuss more. Really important to not to have carry any confusion within ourselves. So whatever question you have, please do throw at me, and I'll try to answer it up to my best knowledge. If I can't, I'll study and come back to you. This is how the processes we follow. Okay, and there can be scenario I might be wrong. Please do discuss. Please do debate. Okay, and these debates really help us out to basically achieving the best possible knowledge we can for our job requirement, interview, and the work culture understanding as well. I worked in North America for almost 6 plus years. I worked in Canada also for a few months. And whatever we are trying in terms of here for the job market of North American region and the Canadian region. Does that make sense to you? Do you find anything out of place or something like that?
No, sir.
So,
Yeah,
sir, you are going to explain like this agenda today, or it is for a whole session? Like,
whole session, man. 10 to 12 weeks.
okay, because I definitely need to learn Safe Agile and XP and this thing. I don't know.
Sure, ma'am. Don't worry, don't worry.
Mm.
At the end of these discussion session, you'll be really happy, and you could be answer all the questions of the interviewer, because we have interviewing questioning bank and everything as well. Okay, who have joined new, who have not supplied their email address to me, please do so, so that I can add you to the Google Sheet, where we normally have all these recordings, links stored there. You can also view the recordings of our previous sessions, and if you want to learn anything way ahead, you can go and learn those specific recording also. What I do suggest, keep a pen paper ready whenever you take this training. So if you have any questions, if you have any notes to be taken, please do take, and that can be easily referred. Thanks, Shams, thanks a lot. Could you please paste this email on a WhatsApp as well, because WhatsApp is a kind of long-term reference, right? WhatsApp we will use as our normal discussion channel. I am right now in India. I do keep traveling. So my hours are a bit different than the actual North American hours. I might be in the North America, before your training ends. But overall, right now I'm in India, so we have a kind of time difference. So WhatsApp is the best. Even if you want to call, please send me a message, personal or within a group. I want to discuss something, and then we'll plan a call and we'll basically do those discussion, whatever you want to discuss. Okay, and this is how we basically build a rapport. This is how we basically keep learning better and better. Okay, let me move to the next slide here. Come on. Here, let's start understanding the business analyst first. Okay, now business analyst has these two words, right? What is a business? Can anybody tell me what they think business is? What does that word mean to you? Anybody?
Any organization who are like intended to make the profit
Okay,
is a business.
very rightly said, Renu ma'am. And yeah, this is the overall, thought process. Business is basically, or the organizations or the corporates are normally created for earning revenue, making profits. And that's how the basic intention of it. Why we call business analyst? Because the crux of it, it's towards profitability, or what there's something called as a return on investment. What is a return on investment? Let's say I invest so many dollar in some shares, in some equity. Why do I do that? Because I want to earn some dollars whenever I invest something. Let's take an example of fixed deposit. So if I do a FD of let's say $1,000, right? And when I do this $1,000 deposit, at the end of a year, I might get 1,000. How much? $20. So $20 I have earned as an interest. So rather than sitting the money in a saving account, if I invest in fixed deposit, I earn some dollars, and this way I can get richer without doing anything, which is not a real good scenario. But when I invest in equity, I can get the income up to around 20, 25, 22%. Okay, and these are the peak return rates I'm talking about in equity in North America. Equity means shares. So if I purchase a share of Apple have grown around how much means, you can look at the graph of Apple equity growth. If you put these words on a Google, you'll understand how a brand like Apple, or a brand like General Electric, brand like Southwestern Bell, brand like IBM, Dell, how these brand or the corporates or the businesses have been expanded in the last few years. How much shares, if you invested 5 years ago, how much they worth right now? And these are like historical figures. And same thing, if you invest in equity, you get some returns on top of that. This is what we call return on investment. Similarly, whenever you form an organization, be it something like Apple, IBM, and all those things, you create it to earn profits. Earn profit for yourself as an owner, earn profit for yourself as an investor. If you're investing in share capital is a kind of part ownership, and that's the legal definition of share. Okay, so you are owning a part of a company, and as the company grow, you get a share of your profits, share of your investment. So if you invest 40%, you'll get 40% of your profit. If you invest 0.1%, you'll get 0.1% of a profit, and so on so forth. So here we do business to earn profits, to gain some return on investment. That's the basic definition of a business. Then what do we analyze? Within business, the business expands with a different number of products, projects, solutions, support. Even if you talk about hospitals, let's say, hospitals are mostly, well, nowadays they are really technical, but if you look at pre-COVID area, hospitals were really very less technical in terms of their technical adoptions, the robotics, and all those processes. But still, they were trying to invest in the technicalities of it. So they were looking for some robots to perform operations. They were looking for some new branch to be created so that they can serve more patients, they can earn more profits. And this way, even something like all hospitals also grow. Now, how do we grow? The growth basically requires to expand, to add something to the business, to grow the business horizontally, vertically, and the whole 9 yards of it. So how do you grow? Think about an Apple. So Apple is a phone manufacturing company. They have to come up with a new model every year so that they can take the help of new invention within the scientific community. They take help from them and build new models with the new facilities to the users. Now whenever you started creating new product, new project, new solution, new services, you have to have a good number of project management team or a good intelligent project management team where you normally first analyze these requirement situations, where we will basically create a think tank where we'll plan it out how to expand, how to grow, how to invent new facilities for our user, and for that we do analyze business. So business analysis is basically kind of addition to the business, where we cook or conceive ideas, give a conceptualization to them, and try to basically build new product, solution, services, so that our business expansion do happen. We might create a new building, we might create a branch of our offices in some new city, and that's also kind of a business expansion, and we need a business analysis for that. So how do you do business analyst? We try to basically incubate a vision, we try to convert this vision into requirements. So what are the requirements for a given vision? What all things do we need? So let's say if I want to create a new office in, let's say, St. Louis, Missouri, and there I need to, if I want to, create a new office there, I need to understand how many, office member will work there, how many years of ahead I need a planning. So what I'm planning for 5 years. I'm just thinking raw here. Okay, for a given organization XYZ company, they want to open an office in St. Louis, and they are planning to hire at least 2000 plus employee within the first 5 years at that corporate, at that office. So they need a plot. So what they do, they send some analysis to basically understand what are the plots available there. They might do research online as well, but again you need to do this research, right? So these research are done by the analyst. These analysts, they might go to a Google and search for vacant plots available for so on so much length. So they might need 300 feet by 300 feet kind of plot. They might need 3000 by 3000 feet of plot. They might need 30,000 by 30,000 feet of plot. Depending upon their requirement, they might look for the plots available and which suits their requirement. We want to have plot near downtown, in the downtown, in the suburb, away from a city for a few kilometers, few miles, and so on and so forth. So all these attributes to the requirements, all these requirements have to be notified, noted somewhere, and we have to have a human responsible for analyzing those requirements, and these are what we call business analysts. These guys come back and give you a reports. So there could be a report saying in St. Louis, there's an area called Clayton Road, and we have a plot of around 6,000 by 4,000 feet, and which we think is suitable as per our requirement. Oh, then top manager, top boss, CEO, CTO, MDs of the world, or the PMOs of the world sit together and say, yeah, this is really good option. Could we negotiate in terms of pricing, in terms of long-term payments? Could we get a loan and all those things? Oh, again, then this responsibility is given to the analysts. So analysts go to a couple of banks, go to a couple of corporates, check for the partnership, check for how can we negotiate the price with the owner, and so on and so forth. So all these analysts, they do analysis, they do generate report and provide it to the management, the top management, and then top management will decide, is it really good investment? Oh yeah, we are planning for that. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's assign a project manager to this, which will basically get the thing started. Get the thing started in terms of trying to understand how do we architect the building, how do we design this thing, and so on and so forth. So the project manager will come back and tell you, yes, we tried something called proof of concept or a POC, where we try to test the land, we try to understand how the employees can where to park, from where they'll come, do we have a metro station, do we have a public transport near or not, and those scenarios as well. So even project manager needs analysis. They might basically leverage these analysts to do some more analysis on a particular area, and so on and so forth. So within the due course of time, project manager will create a team, build a team with the help of architect, design, development, tester, deployment, and all those floor and fauna of a management. And with for these processes, be it a business analysis, be a project management process, we normally work with the standardized books. The first and foremost book for business analysis, BA book or BA book, how that's normally referred. Okay, depending upon this twisting of pronunciation of words, let's try to understand this BA book or a BA book is one of the most viable kind of scenario for a business analysis process, and we'll refer to this book quite frequently. We'll start understanding how this BA book can help a normal individual to transform into a good analyst. And this analyst can understand in terms of scientific way how the analysis should be done, how the analysis should be carried out, how the analysis should create the report and present it to the project management team or present it to the top bosses. And then in addition to that, we have different give me a minute please, we have different ways and means to basically carry out this analysis one step at a time. And we are going to understand these analysis step with the help of some inputs required, some processing required, some output required, and we call these parts are as a knowledge area. So what are the different knowledge area we need to learn in BA book? There are 6 knowledge area in business analysis, there are 10 knowledge area in project management, and so on and so forth. Because we do this work, right? As a human, they carry this work, and these are like artistic things which we do. It's almost like painting a picture, not with a pen, paper, and all those things, but yes, you are painting a picture for a business. You are basically devising new idea, you are incubating new solution for a business. As far as business analysis goes, as far as project management goes, you are a kind of in a leadership role where you lead the other team members to create, develop, invent these new products, solutions, support services as per the need, as per the conceptualization done by the business analyst. And we add a number of things to that. Okay, because nowadays we work with the agility, flexibility, closely with the business, we collaborate with the business on day-to-day basis, and this is how we basically convey, or what you can say, collect the requirement in the form of analyst. Then we understand the requirements, we do convert them to a functionality feature list. Whenever we do management, whenever we create develop a product for these policies and processes. And with this learning, we also going to learn various processes and tools. Processes as in there are some inputs, there are some processes, and there are some output. So these are the processes we are talking about, and there are some tools like we might need to have analysis done on terms of different decision making process. So for decision making process, there are a good number of scientific evolution, scientific thought process, which we have already evolved to a level where we might use tools like SWOT analysis, fishbone diagram, and various other tools. There are around 12 to 15 tools we're going to learn in business analysis alone. In project management, there are a good number of tools which are really used by many project managers. We'll learn those as well. So here we learn the theory part of it, we learn the tools part of it, and then we do the hands-on practices on that, and that's how the overall session get progressed from one part to another, and so on. So does anybody have any question for me at this moment? We have good light. Yeah, so let me move. If you have any questions, please do ask. Now the next leg of our discussions were project management. Project management is use of a specific knowledge, tools, skills, technique to deliver something of value to people, value to corporate, value to the organization. The development of a software is an improved business process. Among all the developments, among all the creation, software development is one of the most matured processes on the earth. And that's why we normally take a good example of a software development. But other than that, we can also take a help of construction of a building. We can, plan a thought process, plan a project for a relief effort disbursement for a natural disaster, or even COVID medicine disbursement units, and so on and so forth. So this way, we have to understand how we enrich our business, how we expand our business. First, we understand the project, we gain the knowledge from the analyst team, then we basically understand the management part of it in terms of what type of development life cycle we need to apply, what type of methodology or a mindset we need to apply. Could it be better with agile? Could it be better with agile scrum? Could it be better with waterfall? Could it be better with Six Sigma? Could it be better with ITISM and the whole 9 yards of it? Then we'll understand the tools and processes in terms of how we could manage the project in a best possible way. And then we'll also discuss how to think like a PM, how to think like a leader, how to think like project manager, and the other roles as well. And then we have lots and lots of hands-on workshop where we'll practice and we'll discuss the outcome of it. There's no right and wrong. These are all thought processes. These are all evolved work cultures. And that's why we need to understand how we can be an evolved analyst, evolved project manager, and so on and so forth. We'll also learn various other roles even during the project management. Project manager is just the one role. Then we have assistant project manager, the team lead, the project lead, the test managers, the deployment managers of the world, the configuration managers of the world, and so on and so forth. So there are many people actually involved in project management cadre, and that's why we will discuss all of those things. Then we'll understand something like Agile Scrum, pardon me, where we'll try to understand why to choose Agile, why to choose Scrum in terms of, well, Scrum is a strategy in a football game. In a football game, where we normally meet every now and then to re-strategize, to align to the specific need of the game. And that's how these things we have implemented in our project management thought process. So in a Scrum, Agile Scrum is one of the most mature project management methodology which we will learn. What do you mean by mature? The most developed tools and technology. So the tools like templates for a plan, template for a project plan, templates for test driven development, templates for even business analysts, templates for minutes of meeting taking, and so on and so forth. So we have all this templatization and a standardization for a specific management process, and we need to adapt to that, because then we don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel has been already invented, and basically we have created a matured wheel where we can just leverage from their knowledge, and we'll start doing the management in the least possible efforts of reinventing the wheel or redisciplining the processes for the management for a given product, solution, support, services. Does that make sense to you, or am I talking Latin? Is my language technical enough, or is it too theoretical? What do you think? Please give me your thoughts.
Yeah, it's good, sir.
It's good, right?
Yes.
Please stop me if I'm going overboard. Please stop me if I'm going too technical. These things do happen. So if you don't understand, please do ask questions. I would really, love to understand from you how much you have understanding, and then I can improve myself as well. Then as we talked about, we discussed about the agile, agility, scale agile, where we'll understand what are the different roles and responsibilities are given in a specified evolved methodology like agile. Agile is recognized as a strategic organizational competence. So there are lots of certification for agile, methodologies as well. As a subject of training and education, then we have something called scaled agile, or it's referred as a SAFE. So scaled agile is specifically an evolved agile methodology mindset for a larger project. And then we'll also understand what is a career path for product owner. Product owner are the visionary who develop new product, who basically conceive new ideas. It's like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates of the world, where they conceive these ideas, but they don't do development, right? So they have to transfer these thought processes to the development team, to the analyst. So how do they do that? And that's what we will learn in whenever we do the product ownership, in terms of how does the product owner should help a development team, should help an analyst team to actually convey the actual vision, mission, and the whole 9 yards of with the background, with the profitability, return on investment, and all those flow and flow of it. So we'll learn those things as well with some tools and techniques. There are business analysts. Agility is the ability to compete and thrive the digital age by quickly responding to the market changes and emerging opportunities with the innovative and digital enabled business solutions. I really like this sentence. What it means, you need to work with your client collaboratively. There shouldn't be any thought process gap in between you and your client, you and your visionary who have given you idea of developing a product, developing a solution, or developing a services. Depending upon the scenario, policies, and procedure adopted by your organization, still the vision mission carries a good amount of weightage in terms of how we should progress step after step, right? So for that matter, closely working with this visionary, closely working with this you know uh, idea incubation, which really helps to basically give the best result in terms of the management, product creation, service creation, and the other subsequent services. So that's why we normally have a close knit development session or a meetings with this product owner on almost day-to-day basis, and we'll also find out if the product owner is not available, how we can proceed with all our confusion, questions, or the things which we might need to do in terms of absence of a product owner. That's why the business agility is a kind of working collaboratively, working with the vision, mission, policies in a close trust, so that whatever we develop is not away from the business thought process, away from the requirement. So there shouldn't be any requirement creep. So requirement creep is the word which is used in the management where we deviate from the requirement. So there's a requirement of a green color and they haven't specified any green color, and the project manager took light green color. Now, how do you find out who is at the mistake, or rather where the errors have been shipped in case client want dark green? This is because client or the product owner or the visionary forgot to mention the specific shade of green. And in computer, we have 16.7 millions of shades of all the colors, and you can choose any one of them for a specific color. I am just sharing an example with you here. So that's how we want to basically go down in terms of detailing the requirement. We also include non-functional, functional requirement. Functional requirement are like features, the product, the project, the solution should do this. And the non-functional requirement are the performance requirement, where we normally say the ATM should give the money to the incumbent or the guy who a girl who is withdrawing money within a minute's time. It shouldn't do more than a minute if there is no error to that process of withdrawing money from the ATM. And that's how we build our performance processes, which are normally called as a non-functional requirement. And we include these things in our documentation so that the business analyst is a concise or a complete in its way. That's why business analysts are one of the most popular persons for a given project, product, or solution. They are the most appreciated due to their innovativeness of notifying the requirement or guiding the development team in terms of a specialized thought process, so that we implement the requirement at the maximum conformance to the requirement. What it means when I say a green color, and if the analyst have forgot to take the actual green color label, he might go to the product owner or the client and ask him or her saying, "Hey sir, madam, could you please let me know what you mean by this green, whatever you mentioned in the requirement, whatever we got approved from you. So then the client will, or the madam, sir will say, hey analyst, I believe I was thinking of any darker shade of green. So the analyst can show him the color palette, and the client can select one of them, and that we can apply to the given screen, UI, or whatever product we are developing. And this is how we basically keep development with collaboration of a client nowadays, so that there is a least possible requirement creep, requirement deviation in the actual work. We are going to repeat these things. I'm just giving an introduction, okay, of the different legs of our training.
Yes, sir. So you are going so fast, but like I'm also missing a few things, like what color you are talking about. I hope you are going to explain it in future.
I'm in depth, no problem. Color, ma'am, there was an ad in India, Mera Wala Green. Could you recall that, ma'am?
Yep.
Yeah. So that in that advertisement, they have shown a lady with a capsicum in her hand, trying to find a wool for her, sweater weaving. Okay, in India, many ladies do that. They weave the sweater. They basically knit the sweater with their two needles and all those things at their home, and they do this for their nearest family members, out of love, out of care, out of the practice and all, right? So what they do, they normally require a specific color, and they are really choosy about that. In the advertisement, a lady walking with a capsicum in the wool store, that's what they've shown. And this is like what the ad been famous for, the way lady pronounces Mera Wala green. So I'm requiring this specific green, and she's basically carrying that capsicum in her hand. Now, if you look at the capsicum, there are a darker shade at the peaks of the leaves, peaks of the fruit, and there are lighter shade at the join of those fruits, right? So even the capsicum have at least 10 to 15 levels of greens to that. Now, how analysis will fill in this gap? They'll basically sit with the client. They'll basically take the color palette of the green, which consists of almost 3,000 palettes in the the way computer recognize colors, much in detail than our naked eye. So we can choose a specific green, right? And for that, the analyst have to basically collaborative work with the client, the visionary, and then he or she finalize the color palette. This is just a sample I took how detailing requires in a given requirement, collection requirement gathering processes, and that's why the analyst work is get appreciated in multiples of the project manager. Analyst jobs are the most appreciated job across the software industry, across any industry for that matters, because analysts, they work with top bosses. Normally these visionaries are the CIOs, CTOs, MDs of the world, and they came up with a thought process like my company needs to have a better attendance management system. My attendance management system is based on that attendance ledger, and supervisor basically validating that incumbent's ID. Like if Ravindra is signing the ledger, he will ask Ravindra to show the photo ID, and Ravindra will show his photo ID, saying ki, hey supervisor, this is Ravindra Pande, and a photo of it on that ID whatever he's showing, and then supervisor, yeah, good, and that. But there are many lacunas in terms of these manual processes. So VPHR came up with a thought process, let's get this automated. And then what are the other requirements we can add to that? So we have a requirement analysis sessions. We have number of meetings to discuss this, idea evolution, and to basically build a good requirement document. And that's what we call system requirement specification. This is again a templatized document, and normally it's referred as a SRS, but in many organizations they might use some different name also. We will see those names as well. Okay, and then we come to a level where within that SRS I build some conceptual high level diagrams. What it does, it basically includes all the discussions and give a bird's eye view to the solution, a conceptual view to the solution. Like we are enhancing our attendance management, as simple as that. Okay, and then Whenever we ship this knowledge to a project manager, the project manager will have will have designers and architect who basically build a document called functional requirements specification, which will be a kind of Bible to a given product solution support, which will have each and every detail required to construct to develop that product solution support. And then we also use tools like UML, Unified Modeling Language. We use tools like low-level diagram, class diagram, object diagram, infrastructure diagram, and the whole 9 yards of it. Okay, so we'll learn these tools. We'll learn this templatization. We'll learn this, a step-by-step process. How we build the conceptual diagram. We will do a hands-on practice on conceptual diagram as well. We'll do hands-on practice on a UML diagram as well. So we need to learn this tool called Unified Modeling Languages. Okay, and this is all part and parcel of business analysis training. Again, I am just introducing you to the concept as of now, but yes, this is the base of business analyst. Okay, so this session is really important. You can't skip this thing. And this way we're going to step by step evolve into each of these tools and techniques, and we'll basically do a hands-on practice on this so that we can be a good analyst. Once you are a good analyst, you can be really a great project manager, believe me. And I'll guide you how, and how we basically step by step evolve a thought process for a given product, for a given solution, for a given services. Does that make sense? Any contradiction with what I'm talking?
No, sir.
Okay, that's really great. Okay, so let's start understanding the analysis part. Okay, now what is a business analyst? What all these processes included? Now this image has been taken from a BA book, and I'll share the BA book link with you so that you can download the latest BA book and you can start reading it. Okay, I'll also tell you a couple of ways. If you're not a good reader, you can convert the PDF to a MP3 file and listen to the auto reader read that document for you. Okay, and also you can plan this reading. But throughout this business analyst session, please do keep reading this BA book so that we'll understand all the evolved standardized process of business analyst. Okay, like this image shares with you what business analysis process includes. So this will basically go through the description of a business analysis process. Just to share the idea, we do lots of meeting with the visionaries, with the executives who are going to use the solution. We can call them the business users as well. Okay, and these meetings will collect something like minutes of meeting, and depending on these minutes of meeting, we came to an idea of a solution. So we devised a conceptual solution in terms of this solution will have this, with this solution will be deployed on a cloud, this solution will have so many bugs, so many this, that, and floor and phone of it. And these documents, this is what we call system requirement specification, to be given to the project development team. And that's the kind of output business analyst does. So SRS is our output, it's our result, and the SRS document is owned by the business analyst. Then we also do something called BPMN, business process modeling notations. So what are these notations? Like we talked about UML, user unified modeling language. In BPM, we normally try to understand the processes of business. So when you say an employee will notify his attendance with the help of, let's say, fingerprint reader. So then I need to understand, I need to devise a process of that attendance being captured of each and every employee in the morning, and also give a length and breadth of it. Right, at a time, how many how many resources, how many employees can log their attendance, how efficient are the business scanner, how efficient are the fingerprint scanners, how efficient can I make the process, can I make it centralized across the globe, can I have Spanish office attendance pushed to the cloud or a centralized database or something like that. Can I also include it leave management processes, so that attendance and leave management processes should go hand in hand. So the salary disbursement process and so on. So we do data analysis as well. Data analysis is a part and parcel of a business analyst. Business normally has a number of data points, has a number of number crunching thought process, which normally includes data analysis. We do some data analysis with Excel also. So we'll basically learn how to do pie chart, how to do bar chart, how to do pivot tables, and so on and so forth. And this is the learning of a business analyst. And this you can use for your day-to-day life as well. And then how to interview the stakeholder. This is not like employer interview, but this is we are trying to get details or the background of a given requirement. If the visionary say I need to automate the process, so I need to make sure we normally try to exclude the manual intervention from it. So we'll basically talk to different executives, say how we could achieve this. So the executive can tell you can use either biometric like our neighbor have been using, or you can use infrared scanners which are really advanced, and so on and so forth. And then we deduce a decision based on these minutes of meeting or an interview report, where we might finalize on biometric or a fingerprint scan. Then outlining the technical requirement. This is what we normally refer to as a high level diagram. So high level diagram is a kind of bird's eye view. We're going to do a hands-on practice on how to draw a high level diagram. I'll give a couple of options of couple of solutions, and you basically draw a high level diagram. You can draw a high level diagram with a pen and paper. You can draw a high level diagram with the different tools available online as well. Whatever you feel right for you, whatever suits your personality. Okay, so again, the tools are there for you, but the basic thing what we need to understand, what problem are we solving? Can I solve with pen and paper rather than drawing it on a computer? Again, it depends on how you want to basically get the maximum output of whatever thought process you are incubating. Be it a high level diagram, be it a low level diagram, we have to understand how we can achieve this with the best possible knowledge transfer to the management team. And that's why a high level diagram is one of the most crucial element for every business analyst. And then communication with the challenge. So we'll build a communication thought process in terms of who to talk, what to talk, how to get the sanctions, how to get the approvals as early as possible, and we'll also understand, how to build something like stakeholder management. In project management, we have a big chapter on a stakeholder management where we'll learn how to manage stakeholders. Okay, as a manager, but as an analyst you have to understand the stakeholder in terms of who is the crucial stakeholder, who is the most important stakeholder, who can give a sanction, who has the knowledge or the background of the required solution, so that we don't have to keep researching online, or go to a consultant, rather than we can leverage the client itself and get the nth level detail of a requirement. We'll learn this thing in a step-by-step evolutionary way. Okay? Do you think we should stop here today? Anybody? Or should we go ahead for another, 15-20 minutes?
Yeah, we can go ahead, but
Right? So there's no overload of thought process, there's no overload of, I'm speaking, you are listening kind of scenario. Please convey me if you have any other commitments, or we are discussing too heavy topics. These things do happen. Okay, some topics need personal thought process, personal discussions, personal meditation in terms of understanding or actually churning to the topic for the personal angle of it. Because me, the way I born and brought up, my culture is different than yours. Okay, so your thought process is different. So that's why I'm saying Mera wala green is different for you, different from me. And we need to respect this thing. We need to understanding. And everyone should understand what the thought process behind Mera wala green or Mera wala thought process, as I normally say it. Mera wala thought process, because I want to understand how I do think of business analyst, right? So I should be able to explain it in my own words. So if an interviewer asks you a question, tell me about business analyst or what business analyst does. You should be able to explain in your own way, own words, rather than the words I have, shared with you. Can anybody try to explain what is a business analyst? Give it a try. Again, there's no right or wrong here. Who wants to try?
So business analyst is basically a person who is like trying to solve any kind of business problem which is given by a stakeholder, and trying to like give an idea about the business to solve their like pain point, whatever they have. And basically they suggest a few ideas and try to build up something out of it with both of the communication, like business and what analysts think about it, both.
Great, great, really great explanation. And I'm really happy that the answer is almost perfect to the actual requirement. Okay, now we need to add some business analyst word or the actual management word into this definition, and we'll do it gradually. Don't feel that. Don't feel bad about it. But this is how we progress. But up to at this moment, I think you got a clear idea what business analyst does. Okay, thanks a lot for that answer. Okay, let's take a step further. Let's try to understand. This is also an image taken from a BA book. Here, this image, yes, Shamji, please go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. So, I mean, before we go ahead, I mean, can you just give us a brief about, I mean, broad level idea about the roles and responsibilities of each? I believe like BA, product owner, and the project manager are the roles, and SAFE is the methodology, right?
Right. Very rightly said, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, I believe that the team of product owner, product manager, and the BA, and are there any other team members, and how these three roles really go hand to hand with other team members?
This is really a good question. But you're asking about the crux of the whole, training sessions, frankly speaking.
No, I just want to understand broad level understanding about the, I mean, roles and responsibilities of the BA and how they affect or how they influence each other in day-to-day life.
Sure, sure. We have just started a discussion, as ma'am have explained the business analysis part of it, right? Could you try in your words what the business analyst does? Just give it a try.
Sorry, I mean, what I understood about the business analysis?
That's right.
So what I understand about business analysis is he is the person who is coordinating between the product owners, developers, as well as the stakeholders to solve a problem which is for which the whole process is going on.
Right. So it's a bridge between the technical team and the client. That's very right. Okay. Now a project manager, as we've discussed, is a leader of a development team. So after business analyst, we have a project manager who is a leader of a development team who develops, construct said number of things, which are basically analyzed by the analyst. The product owner is a visionary who keeps guiding the development team, including analysts, in terms of any confusion. Like we discussed about, the green color shade, which to be chosen for a particular, product cover or whatnot, or packaging for that matter. Okay, and then we have something like test managers, we have development team members, we have configuration manager, and so on and so forth. We'll learn about this thing in our project management, capsules about Agile, waterfall, scaled agile. These are all project management methodologies. There are a number of different roles. Even according to the methodology, we have something like Scrum Master. We have something like um, um, wow, Well, we have product owner, scrum master, we have team members, and we have test managers, the deployment manager, and so on so forth, or release manager, and there are number of team members to be discussed throughout these things. So the major team members are the basically analyst who collect the requirement, the project manager who construct the requirement, who construct a product solution support, the test manager who keep testing that thing in parallel with the construction, the product owner keep reviewing that thing, is it according to his vision mission, and then we have something like various user, we normally refer them as a stakeholder, which are going to use this system. In terms of business, in terms of attendance management system, every employee of the organizations uses attendance management system, right? So whenever you join an organization, you do use attendance management system. Either it's a manual or automated, you do use that thing, right? So that way, there are a number of users. So we do have something called user acceptance testing as well. So there are various number, and for the user acceptance testing, we might choose 6-7 employee out of 1,000 employee or something like that, depending upon the organizational policies and procedure. We do this filtering or a sampling, and this way there are number of team members, number of members which get which work collaboratively with you, depending upon the phase of the project, depending upon the progress of the project, and so on so forth. Okay, and this is what we're going to learn throughout our sessions, where we'll understand what are the different ceremonies, what are the different artifacts. Artifacts are the documents which we create to make sure we have completed the process. Like in terms of business analysis process, we create an artifact called SRS, System Requirement Specification, which includes a diagram like high level diagram, which includes a unified modeling language diagrams, like use case diagram, infrastructure diagram. We do have a decision analysis, or option analysis with the SWOT, fishbone diagram, and there are various tools like that which we include in terms of business analysis process. Okay, so we're going to all learn this thing in a step-by-step way. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yep. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, sir. Now, this diagram depicts the business analysis process. And this is again a conceptual representation. Okay, so here we start with getting oriented. What do you mean by getting oriented? So if you are working with a car manufacturing company, you think like a car manufacturer. If you're working with the insurance agency, you might think like an insurance agent. If you're working with the IT company, you might think like a typical IT employee, of how he should work, what are his roles and responsibilities, and so on. So we need to get oriented ourselves as a business, to the business at hand, and this is what we call gaining domain knowledge, or understanding the process, understanding the business processes which is required to be devised, or the gap analysis from where the process is moving from as is to be positioned. The next step is discover primary business objective. Why business want to do this project? Why business want to develop this product? Why business want to have these support services in place for them? What does it mean to them? What are the return on investment? How their life will be easier after implementing this product for solution support services for them? Okay, then we define a scope. Scope in the sense, the limitation till what end we need to keep developing, because humans idea have no limitation. I might start with a typical car, and I might go to a level where I might land up in designing a satellite. This thing do happen. Satellite is also a kind of carrying vehicle from Earth to outer space, right? A car from point A to point B, my house to home, and so way I can evolve my idea to the nth level. But as an business, I need to limit my every scope. I need to limit my idea to a level where I'll consider what is in scope, what is out scope. So whenever I'm trying to find a car for me, I need to analyze a couple of things, like, okay, how much distance I do travel in a given day, how much speed I can attain for my day-to-day traffic, How do I travel in terms of to a longer destination? If at all, sometimes uh, I have to plan to, let's say, plan to go to Niagara. So for that, I might hire a car rather than use my own car. So for that matter, I can reduce my car budget to the basic minimum. So rather than I'll go with Toyota Corolla, Toyota Camry, or Nissan Altima, Dodge Neon, depending upon my requirement. I normally build my scope, how much money I have, and how bigger car I can get for it. And that's kind of median we always find within our life. So we do scope management. Even, believe me, whenever we get up in the morning, how much tea should I drink depend on how much tea I can make, how much coffee I can make at a given time. So if there are 10 people in my family, I need to make sure, if at all there are 6 members who are drinking tea or coffee, I need to make the tea or coffee for all those 6 people, right? And similarly, this is what we call scope management, to understand what to be done, how much to be done. That's what the scope is all about. And then we build something like a scope statement. We will learn to write a scope statement in terms of a particular need, particular solution development. Then for a BA, it's really required to formulate a plan. Depending upon the scope, we will understand what type of requirement I need to gather, what all different parties I need to meet, discuss, get the requirement in depth, and then collect or meet them, build some minutes of meeting with every such meeting, so that whatever at the end of the day I collect in terms of knowledge is documented as an artifact. And this artifact is normally called minutes of meeting, or MOM. This MOM is a primitive requirement gathering tool. So if somebody asks you what is MOM, so minutes of meeting is a primitive requirement gathering tool. Okay, why we call primitive? Because we are using MOM from ages altogether, where we used to basically try to jot down the discussions in terms of the points discussed, the action points, the timelines which are prefixed on these action points, the person responsible to make sure this thing gets executed, or the action owners, and so on and so forth. Even we do add sometimes who initiated that action, who initiated that discussion, and so on and so forth. We're going to see a good number of minutes of meeting template, and we do have some hands-on practice of gathering a minutes of meeting. Then as a fifth step, we define a detailed requirement plan. We define detailed requirement in terms of we copy the requirements from the minutes of meeting and we paste it in a list of requirement document. A list of requirement document can be a typical Excel sheet or a Word file, depending upon the organization's policies and procedures where you are working. You normally choose this template from your quality management systems. Quality management system is a kind of libraries of all these templates, all these disciplined processes for a given executions. So for taking minutes of meeting, I might copy the minutes of meeting template, which can be an Excel sheet or Word file from the organizational quality management system, which is normally referred as a QMS. We're going to understand quality management system development, designing in the management capsule of our discussions. Then you basically define this detailed requirement in terms of you prepare a list of requirement, which is a kind of deliverables of a BA. This list of requirement with the conceptual solution, the diagrams, the decision analysis is encompassed into a document called SRS, System Requirement Specification. This SRS is a kind of output of a business analysis process. The business analyst work doesn't end there. We normally support the technical implementation. What does that mean? You help the project management development team. You assist the project manager in terms of, are we going right? Are we well aligned with the thought process which we have discussed during the analysis phase or not? Do you have any confusion? Can I go back to the product owner and grab the details to the nth level, and so on and so forth. So most of the time, all the business analysts work as an advisor to the development, construction, project management activities. And then we also help the business to implement the solution, because we were discussing with the top bosses of the client, like the VPHR of the world. So we know what those bosses want in terms of the actual solution. And there we help the development team to implement the solution as per the need. And this is a kind of the most important part of the development process, or earning satisfaction from a client process. And then we also try to assess the value created by the solution whenever we complete the solution. So does it really make client proud of this development, whatever we did for them? Does it solve the purpose, whatever they are requiring for, and so on and so forth? So we do analyze these things, and in most of the cases, we also do some as an analyst. We also have a responsibility of getting the customer satisfaction survey, CRS, customer CSS, or CSR. There are different acronyms attached with this process, but at the end of the day, customer satisfaction survey is what we are looking for, or customer review survey, whatever you want to call it. We need to understand how customer is satisfied with your deployment, with your delivery of a product, solution, or support or service. And this is a kind of the overall 9-step process in terms of a business analyst. Does anybody have any confusion on any step, any requirements, or any additional explanation you are looking for?
So when you said customer, it's like final user or the
Customer is
stakeholders?
final. Yes, normally, yes. Or customer can be your a client for which you are developing something.
Okay.
Okay, because let me tell you, let's say if a company like Infosys, right, it's a technical IT giant which is helping somebody like State Farm, which is an insurance company, to enhance their attendance management solution. Now here the customer is the company called State Farm. The technical partner is Infosys. Okay,
Okay.
and we normally discuss this example. Me working as a business analyst at Infosys, we are developing an enhancing attendance management solution for State Farm. This is the
Okay.
normal example we discuss throughout our discussion. So yes,
Okay.
me working as a manager, as an analyst for Infosys, which is really a matured IT company, and we are developing a solution for enhancing attendance management solution for State Farm, which is a insurance company. They are also technically well enabled, so they want a solution which is 24/7 centralized database, without any manual intervention, with leave management, and blah blah blah. Okay, so we'll keep discussing this example throughout our session, so that you can understand all these theoretical concepts in depth. Does that answer your question, sir?
Absolutely, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And this, for everybody, please do ask questions. These questions make us more satisfied in terms of gaining the knowledge, more satisfied in terms of, okay, I've learned new things today. And I might write down this concept, or whatever I think of, let's say business analysis process, and so on and so forth. Okay. I do share these presentations with you, so that you can refer to this presentation every now and then. Don't worry about that. Okay. So this is how we keep building our thought process for a given concept, given theoretical concept. Okay, let me move to the
Sir, one question,
second
sir.
slide. Oh, yeah, go ahead, please. Sir. Any questions?
Yeah.
Please go.
Sir, is there any document or anything where a repository where it is like we have all the jargons which are used in this business analysis domain? Like, is there a
Yes, sir,
reference?
definitely. I talked to you about BA book, right? BA book or BA book.
Yeah.
This is what we call business analysis book, and this is referred within North America and Canadian region as a Bible for a business analyst. And I am going to share a link with you after our session, where you can download this BA book, and you can basically go through that BA book, which will have all the jargons required for a business analyst. And this is a standard organization called IIBA.org, International Institute of Business Analysts. As you can see a logo in the top right corner here, sir, that's the organization I'm talking about, which is basically one of the most, or rather the topmost organizations for a business analyst within North American and Canadian region, where all the business analysts normally refer to their research, refer to their this BA book for all the confusions, the jargons, and the policies and processes. The diagram which I show you in the last slide is from that book itself. Okay, so yes,
Okay.
we can refer to these things. If you are not fond of reading, I would really request you to convert this PDF to the MP3 or whatever audio file your phone suggests, and do listen to this before going to sleep or something, so that you'll understand how the business analysis process actually getting executed in the current modern world. Okay, and so
Yeah.
on and so forth. We'll learn in a step-by-step evolution.
All
Okay,
right.
let's try to understand the standard and the regulation and the best practices here. So what we are
Okay.
talking about, we are talking about the evolved thought process of a business analysis. Now this BA book, it's called as a guide to business analysis body of knowledge, or BA book, BA book, whatever or however you want to pronounce it. Is a standard for practice for business analysts, and is for professionals who perform business analysis tasks. Recognized globally as a standard of a business analyst, it guides business professional with a 6 core knowledge area. We're going to learn each of these knowledge area in depth in our next session, describing the skills required, the deliverables required, the techniques we use, and the business analyst professional required to achieve better business outcome. So this is a kind of most popular or the best way to learn business analysis process. Definition as per BA book, the business analyst is a practice of enabling change in an organizational context by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to the stakeholders. This is the definition, this is the theoretical definition. Let's try to understand how this definition do reflect of whatever we learned today. So business analyst is a practice. So it's a process to be executed of enabling a change, of actually making a change in the business is an organizational context, in the sense the business, the corporate American company, the corporate Canadian company, and we are basically bringing the change with all approvals, floras, funas, checks and balances by defining a needs. So needs is a requirement, and recommending solutions. Solutions are kind of conceptual solution here without any technical, jargons. So here business analysts are non-technical people. These are business people, and that's why we conceptualize the solution in a business way that deliver value to the stakeholder, the value for their investment, value for their new solution which they are asked to develop, the set of tasks and techniques that are used to perform the business analysis. And this is how we're going to understand what type of task we're going to execute, we are supposed to execute, what are the inputs to that task, what are the outputs of that task, what are the tools and techniques we are using to do this task. Okay, so all these things we're going to learn in a step-by-step way. And this is to liaison in between the client and a development team. Client is, as we discussed, client to a technical team like Infosys, serving State Farm for developing their attendance management solution, or enhancing their attendance management solution. So analyst is a bridge at times to support business change, initiate solution conception without conflicts or confusion. And these are the one of the most prominent features an analyst must require. This is to be licensed in between client and a development teams, a bridge at times to support business change and initiate solution conception without conflicts and confusion. What does this mean? We need to keep discussing till we remove all the confusion, conflicts, and basically build a conceptual solution and then get it approved from the client, a sanctioning authority, and then treat it as a final design in terms of a basic high level diagram which is to be shared with the project management team to construct, develop, or whatever services need to be applied to the given client. And this is how we basically apply the business standard, regulation, and best practices in our day-to-day life. Does that make sense? Anybody have any confusion? Any question for me at this moment?
Sir.
We are good, right? Okay, let me do one thing. Let me share these 11, 12 sites with you, so that next time will basically revise these things and go on the next step. It's almost 8:30, and that's a kind of I think enough discussions today in terms of theoretical thought processes to revise this thing. Let me share this presentation, the part of presentation, as well as the BA book link to be downloaded. Okay, and then please do start reading the BA book whenever you get time. We will have our next session on 3rd of September at 9:30 p.m. Okay, so please do join us, and we'll discuss in a step-by-step progressive fashion in terms of how business analysts do their work, what type of tools and techniques do use, and so on. So, okay. So if anybody, if nobody have any question for me, let's stop here today. Okay, and let's meet again day after tomorrow, same time. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a
Yep,
lot for your
thank
time.
you.
Give me a
Thank
minute.
you.
Somebody asked a question. Okay. Thanks. Thanks a lot of time. Have a good night.
You
Bye
too,
bye.
sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Most welcome, sir.